Hello, my name is Tim Currie, and I'm going to talk about using Google visualization tools to create simple visualizations online. In Chapter 20 of The New Journalist, I talked about using visualizations to tell stories. The ones produced by the New York Times and the Globe and Mail can be quite complex, but Google provides good tools for creating professional visualizations that are easy to make. This is the main page for Google visualizations. It describes the different types available and gives examples, and you can find it by searching for Google Chart Tools. We're going to create two interactive visualizations. The first is a pie chart representing federal revenues, and the second is an intensity map showing relative debt levels in European countries. We're going to do four things. We're going to put some data in a spreadsheet and publish it so Google can access it. We're going to grab an HTML template that Google provides for making these. We're going to edit 4 lines of code. And finally, we're going to put it on a website. And to do this, we need 3 things. We need a Google account and basic familiarity with spreadsheets. We'll also need a text editor. You can use software that comes with your computer, such as Apple's TextEdit or Windows Notepad. I'm going to use the free Text Wrangler for Mac. And finally, you need a way to publish data on the web. I'm going to upload the HTML file to a web server with FTP. But you can also copy and paste the code into a publishing system such as WordPress. I've found some data from the federal government site for our pie chart, so let's get started. I've logged into Google Docs at docs.google.com, and I'm going to create a spreadsheet. And I've put some data in it, in this case 6 rows. We have the first column, which lists revenue streams such as income tax, and the second column, which lists values in billions of dollars. So now that we have it in there, let's leave it for a second. Now we're going to go to another Google page to get the template. Here's a short URL of a page that has the code for fetching live data from a Google spreadsheet. The page that comes up has JavaScript only, but we want the page with HTML included. So we'll click on this Edit HTML link. And we'll select the text that comes up and copy it. And we'll switch to our text editor and paste it. Now the code looks complicated, but we don't need to be programmers to use it. Let's just change a couple of lines to make our pie chart work. Line 17 calls for a specific Google tool to process this chart. It says Packages Intensity Map. It needs to say Packages Core Chart. It's the same thing a little lower. On line 39, it says google.visualization.intensitymap. It needs to say google.visualization.piechart. And the only other line we need to change is the URL to get the data from the spreadsheet that we created. So let's switch back to our spreadsheet and get it. First, we need to publish the page. So we'll go to the top right and click Share. Then we'll choose Publish as a web page. We'll click Start Publishing, and we'll copy the URL. Now we'll switch back to our code and paste the URL on line 26, taking care to paste between the quotes. And we need only the URL string for the data, so we can delete the parameters at the end that say it needs to be formatted in English and in HTML. And the only other edit we need to make is to change the letters pub to TQ. This means when our visualization requests information from the spreadsheet will return formatted data, not the user interface with cells and rows that we saw earlier. So let's save it and see how it looks. I'll use FTP to move the file to my website. Now let's take a look at the published URL. Looks great. Put your cursor over the image and the data values come up. Our second example is an intensity map. The debt crisis facing European countries is in the news almost daily, so I'm going to use data from the OECD's Economic Outlook to show debt levels visually. In our spreadsheet, the first column lists countries, and the second column lists values for debt in relation to GDP. Back in the template, we have to change those lines of code again. This time, line 17 needs to say Packages Geomap, and line 45 needs to say google.visualization.geomap. Remember to change the URL to the spreadsheet, and we have to add 2 lines that call the right map. In this case, a map of Southern Europe. Let's publish it to our site, and we have an interactive map that shows the particular problems facing Greece and Italy. And we're done. Take a more in-depth look at Google Chart Tools, and you'll find lots of other ways to customize your map, and lots of other visualizations to tell stories with data.